Okay. We have to start Overwatch 2's recent event. I just want to talk about the skins for this event. This is what we're going to focus on right here. Again, the video is from Bellular News, which is like my de facto source now for Blizzard news, interestingly.
Yeah, they do a lot of Blizzard. They do a lot of Blizzard stuff. So if
Yes,
you
they
want
do.
Blizzard news, they are a very good source for that. That's for sure.
Yep,
Very in depth usually.
absolutely. So here's a comparison between Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2 regarding this particular Halloween event. So in Overwatch, which I've done the Halloween for Overwatch, the first one that they did, all the skins are free. Cosmetics get discounted after they have been out for a year, which I think makes sense. That makes sense. A new event adds up to 7 legendary skins, new ones, excuse me, plus 3 free epic skins, which is crazy. Like that's great. To me, that's great. I think like from my perspective, that's a good amount of content, and there's a lot of free content. It's also worth noting Overwatch was a paid game, though. I do want to note that as a factor. You paid $50 to get into this, 40, don't remember, something like that, 40 or 50.
It was at least it was 50 or 60. It wasn't 40. Yeah, it was.
And it wasn't 60 from what I remember. This was not a full price
So
game on release.
then it was 50.
Yeah, something like that. Overwatch 2. Old event skins cost money. All cosmetics now cost more, including Overwatch League tokens. Events now only add 3 skins. There are no free skins. Here are the legendary skins for Overwatch 2. Here are the epic skins. Okay, that was not I did not misspoke there. There was no misspeaking at all. Epic on the left, legendary on the right. I'm gonna also full screen this. Spoon. Tell me what you think of the epic skins first.
They look pretty cool.
They look great. For what you would, I thought these were legendary. Like that's Cassidy, and that looks amazing. The Reaper looks really cool. Like I love the coloring on that one. That's really cool and spooky. I mean Genji looks good. Looks good. Totally unexpected, at least for me. I thought these were legendary skins. These are legendary skins. This is the Kiriko one, which does look different than her normal costume, to be fair, but it's an outfit change. Like look at the difference from Cassidy here to Cassidy's normal outfit to this is not only a different outfit, but it's like his body looks skeleton-like. Just like Reaper is a complete, not only like it's I think maybe it's a similar outfit, but it's a complete color palette change here, and it's much brighter. Genji's is a complete change, like it's overall a complete change. Kiriko, they just changed her outfit. This is Junker Queen. This literally looks like the same. I don't even know that's different. If you had asked me if that was the base outfit for Junker Queen or a skin, I would have said that's base. This is a disgraceful legendary skin. I'm like kind of shocked that somebody on the Overwatch team designed this. I'm not shocked that somebody at the Overwatch team said, "Yeah, put minimum effort into it because we don't want you to spend any time compared to the money that we can make." But I am shocked that a designer made this basic of an outfit. I'm super like surprised about that. Like this is like, I thought this was the base skin for Junker Queen. I really did. And I want to find the base skin for Junker Queen now, which I'm going to do for some perspective on this, because I think it's obviously important. Junker Queen, base. I want you to see that this is the normal Junker Queen outfit right here on the right. Okay? This is the normal outfit. Burn that into your mind. This is the legendary outfit. Like, it's harder to see, obviously, because it's smaller. But, like...
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a palette swap, basically.
It looks the same to me. Like, this is unreal. This looks the same.
I mean, the color scheme's different, but other than that, yeah, it looks pretty much the same.
Yeah, like it's obviously it's not the same, but this is crazy to me. This difference of content is crazy. It's not like my logical part of my mind is telling me it shouldn't be surprising given you have a free game and Activision is going to do the bare minimum on almost everything that they can. Like Overwatch 2 is a fun game, but it's the bare minimum work that they had to put in. Like if I'm being completely honest with you, Spoon.
Yeah.
It's the bare minimum that they had to do. And these skins and these like potential options for purchase for this event, this is the bare minimum to me. Okay, you added 3 new skins for an event. That's the bare minimum. Old event skins costing money is like kind of funny to me, which I'm not surprised at. But like, if it's more than $1, I'd be laughing. Cosmetics costing more, I'm not surprised at because it's a free game. Like, of course, Activision's going to do that. But these legendary skins, I'm surprised at. Like this is one thing that I expected Blizzard to at least step up and go, okay, look, if we're gonna nickel and dime people on all this stuff, we're gonna go all out with our design. This is like shockingly basic to me for what I expect from Blizzard. So I'm really disappointed that Activision completely took the reins on this event. Like this is not Blizzard quality to me by any stretch, which I know I shouldn't be surprised at, but it's amazing to see the difference that like a few years made on this game for what kind of content we're getting outside of the actual game itself. I'm shocked at the difference between these. Like, I don't know when these skins were out in Overwatch 1, but like I know they weren't out in the last year and a half, 2 years, because Blizzard wasn't doing work on that game. So these probably came out between 2017 and 2019, and these are out now. Like this feels like this should be swapped. This feels like it should be Overwatch 2. This should be Overwatch 1. So I don't know what your thoughts are on this, Spoon, but like this is like, again, we've talked about how like Activision is now just completely, it's just Activision now, but like
Yeah,
I
say,
still
like,
expect
that's one of the things. Like you can't, like, I don't know. To me, Blizzard like doesn't even exist anymore. You might as well just call them Activision because they are not. They do not produce the same quality that they used to. They just don't. Like the most of the old guard, if not all of the old guard of Blizzard, have pretty much left by this point. The management is completely different. The designers, all the people that work there are completely different, and I'm sure their production timing and everything else and their expectations are just different than what they used to be. Blizzard used to pride themselves on making great games, and that's what they were known for. Basically, they make great games that their players love, and now they've turned into a very corporate anti-consumer company.
This is a very Call of Duty thing from what I'm seeing here on the right. This is what I would expect from Call of Duty, where it's like, okay, it's a clothing swap, nothing else, for like a new outfit for some, like, for your character that you play in Call of Duty. In like a Blizzard umbrella, I expect a legendary skin to like have like more effects, possibly better, not just a outfit swap, but the character itself looks visibly different, like what I see on the left. I like look at these skins, and the thing like with skins and like why it works in Fortnite is, one, you get a third person view, so you always see the skin that you're playing with. So I think that's a benefit. But also, like, Fortnite does a good job of the higher quality, high tier skins that they either license from other forms of content, like anime, other games, things like that. They put so much time and effort into those skins to make sure that they are desirable. I have zero desire to have these Overwatch 2 legendary skins. I just have zero desire for them. They look so basic to me. I'm just like, why would I be interested in this? even as a fan of the game, I would be like, I don't want this. This sucks. Like, look at HOTS. Like, HOTS is a Blizzard game. When HOTS went all out with their legendary skins in that game, they were good to me.
HOTS had really good, like, not only skins, but like HOTS had a ton of really cool customization options. Like, I loved the announcer voices and stuff they added to that game. Obviously, that was like not when it came out. That was a little further down the line when they did kind of the metagame overhaul on that game. But like, I loved, like, I wish more, you know, competitive games would do that and put, you know, announcer voices in the game as like an unlockable cosmetic, because that was like one of my favorite things. And yeah, the skins in HOTS were really good too.
They were and I'm talking about the ones that are like epic legendary, like the basic like rare ones that cost very little.
Oh yeah, those are colored. They're color swaps.
Yeah, it's a color palette, like, and that's fine. That's fine. Totally fine. But like Kerrigan, for example, all the various Kerrigan skins I remember, whether when they were epic or higher or legendary, they were like, it was a such a visible difference. The one that I remember the most is Kerrigan had like a diva mech kind of skin for the character. That was just like, the abilities look different, the character itself looked visibly different, the voice lines for the character sounded different. Everything I expected from a legendary skin. There's like 3 to 4 differences. This is an outfit change, and I seriously doubt any of their abilities look different.
Yeah, because it's the same thing for like for League of Legends as well, or is the same with like the higher tier skins. I mean, they're expensive, but you get what you pay for. They're like, they completely change the look of the character. They give them new voice lines, as you said. They make their abilities look different. So yeah, they like go, like, one of my favorite skins of all time is in League of Legends, and that's Super Galaxy Rumble.
Yeah.
Because I love Gurren Lagann. It's a Gurren Lagann skin for Rumble. Obviously, like, it's not called that, but you can tell somebody at Riot loved Gurren Lagann and was like, I want to make a Gurren Lagann skin in this game, and they put one on Rumble, and it was like, okay, what a dope skin. Like,
yeah, it's very clear that like Riot puts a lot of time in it as well. Blizzard used to put time in it. 5 years ago, as you can see from this picture, Blizzard cared about this. And Blizzard still can do it. Like, the Genji skin at the end of the Battle Pass looks fantastic. But it's at the end of the Battle Pass. Yep. So it's locked behind this insane barrier. And they, like, Blizzard, it's not like Blizzard can't do it. Like, it's very clear they can, because that Genji skin like has Blizzard written all over it. It's just, we expected that Genji skin to be something that you would just buy as a legendary skin, not locked behind this like big gate, you know. And the last thing I wanted to mention before I kind of stop, because I want to compare this again, because Fortnite has not only figured out the formula, but I just don't understand why people just don't copy them. At this point, you should just copy them, because their formula is extremely effective. The Battle Pass, the way they have it set up, there are a lot of different character skins. They're not hard to get. If you unlock the Battle Pass, okay, if you buy it, and their Battle Pass is pretty reasonable to me for price, because you can constantly repurchase it if you buy one. Those character skins, they look good. It's not completely unreasonable to get to the end of it, to get to the end of that Battle Pass. And it's like, you feel good earning them. Like, you feel really good earning all those, because you're not having to like break your back trying to get it done. You can play it on a reasonable pace, because Fortnite's figured out, they're like, they know that their players are like, we either have people who are going to school, we have people who have a job. They can't commit 3 hours every day sometimes, because they got to do other things. So what we're going to do is we're going to assume that they can commit maybe 5 hours a week, and if you can commit 5 hours a week, you can finish this Battle Pass. And it's like, that's because they know their players. Blizzard doesn't know their players that well. Well, I should say Activision. Activision doesn't know their players this well. They're like, oh, do you have to go to school? Do you have a job? Do you play anything else? Yeah, fuck you.
Yep.
You too bad. We should be your number one. And it's an abusive relationship. So I just like, massive difference, by the way. Massive difference.
I just don't know what I don't know. I just don't understand like the the frame of mind of like, you know, Activision people and whoever like the monetization designers of this game are, like, because it's just like, if you have a free to play game, like, I get it, it's free to play and you want to make money on it, I understand, but if you don't, there has to be, at least to me, a good balance of like, I can earn stuff by playing the game and it's a good free to play experience,
Right.
and then there's cool stuff that I can possibly earn but it would be kind of slow, or I can pay, and you know, there's always going to be some stuff that you literally can't earn through playing, you just have to pay it, you just have to pay for it, and that's fine. And to me, Overwatch 2 has completely missed the mark on the good free-to-play experience, other than the game itself being fun, apparently. And everyone agrees pretty much that Overwatch 2 is fun to play as a game, but the battle pass is insanely freaking grindy and it takes forever to level up. The rewards that you can get free to play are trash, basically. Like, they're just hot garbage and you don't get anything.
Correct.
And you can earn something like 60 Overwatch coins a week, so it's gonna take like half a year to earn enough for like a skin. And with the battle pass, you get enough coins apparently to buy every other one, not every battle pass, every other battle pass. So it's not the Fortnite, or as I said, Gundam Evolution did the same thing, where if you buy the battle pass, you'll get enough currency to buy the next one. And Gundam Evolution has its own issues, but we're not talking about that right now.
Sure.
So yeah, they're like, it's like there needs to be like a trail of stuff, like the carrot, you know, for you to keep chasing. Like, the carrot has to be enticing enough. And to me, like, again, Blizzard has completely missed the mark here on making the carrot enticing. The free-to-play experience from like the battle pass and the monetization aspect to me just seems like absolute hot garbage in this game. It's just like, I never want to play this as a free-to-play player, basically. And I guess they're just hoping there's enough players, and you know, that will make it so that they'll get whatever it is, 1%, less than 1% whales who just go in and buy freaking everything for how expensive it is. But to me, my approach, and you know, obviously I'm not a businessman or an economist or haven't worked on these types of games before, but to me, I would like to, again, give my players a little bit more for free to like entice them into the good experience of like, so maybe we can get more people to pay a little bit, like stick around and pay a little bit occasionally, instead of this where, I don't know, I just think people are just going to get frustrated and throw their arms up in the air and be like, yeah, it's not worth it, and give up, basically. And yeah, the event, I mean, I know we were kind of talking about the event here, but yeah, you can't like earn anything basically. Well, you can earn some rewards for free on the event, but from what I've seen, they're hot garbage, basically. So,
and for me as a free to play player, the only mindset you can have is, I just want to play this game. That's it. And that's the only mindset, and that's obviously, to me, not something you should be promoting for your game. Obviously, is like, if I'm a free to play player, one, you have to entice me with the battle pass. I don't know, I'm just not interested in it. Fortnite does a much better job enticing people to the battle pass. This is just my perspective, and I think I'm more biased because I think I just generally like how Fortnite does it better than everybody, which is why I'm always frustrated why people don't just copy them. I don't know. Oh, dogs are barking. I might have to get the door. But anyway, like, I don't have much else to say other than like, I just wish more people would just copy Fortnite. That's my answer to this. Just copy them. It's not even embarrassing to do that. Just copy someone. I don't understand why people don't do that, because Fortnite's got the formula, so just use it. So, anyway, let me go check on the. I told Spoon before this podcast that somebody might be coming to the door. Why don't you talk about Star Ocean for a couple minutes, and I'm gonna check on this and come back. If that's
okay.
Just like, The reviews, generally speaking, I mean, they look
yeah.
fine to me. So
Yeah. Yeah, so Star Ocean: The Divine Force came out this week on Thursday. Reviews came in a day or two before, I don't exactly remember, and yeah, as Otto pointed out here, we have a 73 critic average. There's not that many reviews. I think it's saying 17 now, and yeah, this is about what I expected. I expected it like between 70 and 80, probably in the low 70s. This is kind of a as I said in the Discord, kind of a B tier or double A, quote unquote. I'm not even sure what qualify as double A. It's a little bit more of a budget JRPG. And yeah, I think the reviews are, yeah, they're fine. They're totally fine for a game like this. The recommended percentage is not very good, but I don't really know what they base that off of. But yeah, Star Ocean has always been a pretty niche series, and like the last one on PS4, which came out, man, I don't remember, 5-6 years ago, something like that, was not good at all. And basically, from what I've heard, is that this one is quite a bit better. And I am playing it right now. I've only played about 3 hours so far, so I don't have too much to say about it so far. But yeah, from the reviews, yeah, most people say that, the game is relatively fun. It has some performance issues, which is true. I've definitely run into those. I mean, I don't know if you have my laptop is getting a little bit outdated, so maybe on a better PC it runs better, but mine is quite framey in a lot of areas, and I get actual like freezes at points. So the performance is quite poor, actually. Um, Most of the reviews played the PS5 version, and that one they said had performance issues as well. Most people seem to agree that the gameplay is pretty fun. The combat is good. And I think the general consensus on the story and characters is that that's pretty decent as well. Nothing exceptional, but solid overall for what you expect from this kind of game. Kind of start on a medieval fantasy world, and then it sort of gets bigger and dives into the sci-fi aspects a little bit later. But yeah. Yeah. No, agreed. Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, it's weird. The game just does not run well. I don't know what they did. Because yeah, as Ghost saying in chat, um the game, like, Tales of Arise looked significantly better than this game does, and that game ran really well. That game stuttered a little bit on my PC, but nothing like this. Yeah, I think the performance so far is the biggest issue. The combat's pretty fun. There's a lot of customizations options in this game, which I can see, I suppose, being a little bit overwhelming for people, because you just get this your generic resource SP, which is used to level up like literally everything. There's a big old skill tree to unlock, which give you passive skills, active skills, combat skills, and then a bunch of stat increases. And but then you can also spend SP to upgrade your skills. And yeah, there's just like SP feels like a very finite resource, and there's just a lot of stuff to do with it. So it seems like that could, like, I like it because it's just interesting. There's a lot of diversity in builds, it seems like, but I think some people could be overwhelmed by the amount of options you were given and lack of direction, basically. So yeah, apparently, yeah. Okay, Ghost is playing on hard mode. I'm playing on normal mode, and the game is, for the most part, like face roll easy so far. So even if the AI is dumb, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I don't know. Like the normal enemies die really quickly, and I really haven't fought many bosses yet, but they're not that haven't been hard either. Normal difficulty seems quite easy. Maybe hard is a big step up. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, as I said, the game's fun. The game's fun so far. I think I'm not far enough in the story to see if it has any potential. Performance is the biggest issue by a long shot, and the game doesn't even like look that good, and I don't know what they're doing in terms of like the optimization and the performance, and also I mean, it's fun to fly around with Duma, which is the little robot that follows you around that helps you in combat and allows you to kind of like not really fly, but you can do like a dash and then hover type thing. And then you can't do it again until you hit the ground. But yeah, the it's fun to explore the areas, but for the most part, the areas are just kind of like big for the sake of being big, and there's like not much to do in them. There's some collectibles, like there's the Duma points and there's treasure chests, obviously. But they're just kind of big and they just feel empty for the most part. Which, I mean, I guess it's better than the PS3 Tales games where the areas were big and were just like jam-packed with enemies and it was annoying. This one, like, the enemies are pretty sparse actually, which is fine. But yeah, the open, yeah, just a couple of the first dungeon-ish area was kind of interesting because there was some verticality to it, but I hit a couple of field areas in a row that were basically just like kind of an open forest. Like it was a forest, so there was a lot of shrubbery, but and trees, but other than that, it was pretty open. And then there was like a plains area, which there was like literally nothing to do or see in. Like, yeah, the areas are, yeah, they have full foliage, so it tanks your frame rate and runs like crap. So, yeah, I don't know. As I said, the biggest issue is the performance, but overall, like the game is, I think the combat's pretty fun. It's pretty easy on normal, as I mentioned. Maybe I'll bump it up to hard, but from what Ghost's saying, hard may be more trouble than it's worth. It sounds like it might be frustrating if the AI is just really stupid and just dies all the time. Yeah, I think that the customization is good. I think. Yeah, and the voice acting actually, I was a little worried about that before the game. It didn't seem very good in the previews and the trailers, but I actually think the voice acting is pretty good so far. I really have no complaints about it, and that was like
God. Okay.
back.
Yep. Anyway. Okay. Obviously you said your thoughts. And sorry, I'm like a little bit frustrated right now. Okay. Look, honestly, I don't have any thoughts on this because I'm not like interested in it. We saw a trailer for this before, in the past, and it looked fine from what we saw before. I don't know. I wasn't particularly surprised at the like 70-ish to 75% range. So
yeah.
Okay. Whew. Let's
Yeah,
see here.
I was just talking about my early thoughts about the game, which I guess I'll just summarize for
Yeah,
you.
please.
And that is that the game is like relatively fun to play. The combat's like pretty fun. It's fast and it's like flashy, which is cool. The voice acting is better than I expected, which is good. I do not like the character models. Okay, the faces are just terrible. Like they're just really stiff and they look like freaking dolls. Like they just have no facial expressions, which is terrible.
Okay.
And but the voice acting's pretty decent. And the biggest issue with the game is the performance. The performance is absolutely atrocious. Like at least on my PC, which is getting a little like, you know, aging a little bit, my laptop, but still Ghost has like a pretty new PC with a, you know, a 3060 in it, and he says he still gets stutters on his. The game runs like crap on mine. Basically, it's
Okay.
in the open areas, it's not a good frame rate. And there are stutters beyond that where it'll literally like freeze for a second and then go back.
You are
So
on what system? You're on PC, I would imagine, right?
yeah, PC.
Okay. So so for you, you're having like stuttering issues and such, and he's on a nice PC, nice computer, and he's having problems. Okay.
Performance was complained about in the reviews on PS5 as well.
Okay.
So
I mean,
I just don't
yeah.
really understand it, because like they just must have done a horrible job optimizing, or their engine is just crap. Like I don't know, because again, Tales of Arise looked like 10 times better than this game.
Right.
And that game that game stuttered occasionally on my computer, but generally ran really well. And look, as I said, just looks 10 times better and runs better. So I don't I don't know. And Tales of Arise like could run on a frickin' potato. This one actually had like relatively stringent like minimum system requirements for PC.
Probably
Like
had those minimum requirements because they had these issues. I mean, I'm picturing a minimum, like a potato, as you said, trying to run this, and it probably just wouldn't run.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't run on a potato. But like, I think my PC with like, you know, which is like, you know, a 5-year-old system with like a 1060 and, you know, an i7 like 8th gen or something, and I think it has 16 gigs of RAM. I think is like basically hitting the minimum system requirements for that, which is like, I know it's 5 years old, but still, I don't know.
A 5-year-old computer should still hit minimum system requirements for something, and it should still run okay at minimum system requirements. Like, this isn't a 10-year-old computer.
Like, it's not okay, it's not so bad that it is unplayable, but like the performance issues are very noticeable. I'll say that, which is, you know, it's not unplayable, but it's, you know, it's annoying.
Yeah. So, okay. I mean, like, honestly, I wasn't interested in the game. Obviously, performance issues for a game are extremely, like, you got to really commit to a game when you're getting like performance issues with stuttering and such, because that's like so for me, that's one of the more frustrating things about a game, when I'm just having like stuttering. And like, just to give an example, it's not as bad as this, so it's an example. Assassin's Creed Unity was unbearable to play at times, like unbearable to play. I just wanted to stop playing it. And that's like, the game itself wasn't horrible, but when you have so many problems with like rendering and issues with frame rate or stuttering, you just won't stop. It doesn't matter how good the game is. You like, at some point you're just like, okay, like, come on, I'm getting tired of this. So yeah, I mean, I'm not saying this game's bad. I'm just saying, like, with something like this, when you see a game that's like a 7 and it's got optimization issues with that, I'm like not super inclined at all to even give it a look. Because it's just like I did that with Assassin's Creed Unity. That was like a 6 to me kind of game. I would never touch that game in a million years again. That was just a horrible experience. So
yeah. Again, for me, it's just kind of like incongruent with like the way the game looks. As Ghost said, it kind of like it maybe looks like a mid-gen PS4 game, and it just doesn't run that well. It doesn't really make sense.
Right.
Like,
which that's frustrating. I mean, look, the game seems like it's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine for the gameplay and all that. Perfectly fine.
It's fun to play.
Yeah. But like at the same time, when there's optimization issues with the game, you're just like, man, how do I really want to commit to this? Do I really want to do this? When I know there's other things I could be doing. But anyway, I mean, look, guys, that's just again my opinion on that. Unity was just one example, but there's others.
You just gotta kind of know what you're getting with Star Ocean. Star Ocean has always been kind of like a B tier or like a budget, JRPG series. I mean, they don't sell it for budget price, obviously, but you kind of know what you're getting. Like, it's not Final Fantasy, it's not Kingdom Hearts, it's not even Tales. Like this, like Star Ocean is budget, like it's budget Tales basically. That's what you gotta kind of think it is, with a sci-fi spin on it. But they usually start you in like a sort of medieval like fantasy world, and then like maybe they'll bring the sci-fi stuff in later. I mean, this one, the sci-fi is there from the start, but you're stuck on the planet, so you're gonna be stuck on this planet for a while. But I hear you actually go off the planet at some point in this game. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Anyway, for the next thing, Bayonetta. Well, Bayonetta got good reviews. Really good reviews, actually.
Yeah, really good reviews.
89, 90 is obviously extremely high quality. Puts it in there with some of the best games released as far as reviews are concerned. I don't know. I haven't played any of the Bayonetta series, but those other games are also good. So I don't know how surprised people would be with this. Spoon, is this like a surprising number for the review? To you
that
at
high,
least?
yeah. I would have expected like mid-low 80s, maybe like 80, between 80 and 85. I think is about what I would have expected, because I mean, Bayonetta's always had super flashy, fun combat. If they messed up the combat, then the game would be like a 4, like it'd just be hot garbage.
Right.
But like the story, and like I guess maybe they just don't care about the story because it's Bayonetta. But the story is a mess. Like, it's just freaking, like, it's not, I guess it's like kind of entertaining and campy for what it is, but I don't know what the story is like in Bayonetta 3, but 1 and 2 is just like, okay,
a little bit all over.
I mean, I think I mentioned it before, but like Bayonetta, I don't really remember the story of Bayonetta 1 that well, but Bayonetta 2, basically in the end, like, you find out that like Bayonetta 1 and 2 are like a freaking time loop.
Yeah.
So
that's what you said.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, I don't know, that's like in its own way interesting, but it kind of has to be packaged a certain way. I don't know if it was packaged in a way where it's like, okay, that's an interesting idea of having a time loop where or something like you got to break a cycle. That could be interesting, to be fair. But I don't know. Like I said, I haven't played any of these games.
That's the thing. As again, Ghost is mentioning in chat. Apparently, again, this may not be the case for everyone, but at least one review that he's saying he read said the story was absolute garbage, and they still gave it a 9. Action games are just held to a different standard than like.
Its story is a bit of a letdown. I'm reading this review. Maybe it's the IGN one here. Its story is a bit of a letdown, and its wild action sequences take a toll on the performance at certain spots. But neither of those issues get in the way of the game being a top shelf action game on the Switch. Which is, here's my take on reviews now. You need to be consistent, and I understand action games may get a pass for this, potentially because it's an action game. You might have some limited, like the idea of its story becomes more flexible, but I don't believe in that. If you're gonna shit on a game for not having a good story, and give it a bad review, and you need to be consistent. Be consistent. If it's an action game with a bad story, I don't think you should be giving it a 9. That to me is like,
Yeah.
Games have very specific benchmarks that they need to hit. Its graphics need to be reasonable enough where it passes for the current system. Like Switch, obviously it's Switch, you know, it's got limitations. Combat needs to work, or it's like just general mechanics for how the game plays needs to work. For this game, it's an action game, but for like, for example, a like a what's it called? Life is Strange doesn't have the same mechanics, but it needs to work in other ways. Story is a pillar of almost every game at this point. There are obviously exceptions to that rule, but like, this is a game that should have a story. There's no reason why it shouldn't. Just like, you know, any other action game would. Like, I don't think games should get a pass for this. Like, I'm sure Elden Ring has a story somewhere, and I'm sure that its story is built upon the lore of its setting. And I honestly, I don't know how good Elden Ring's story is. I'm sure it's like fine, and I'm sure there are people that are going to defend it till their grave. But like, if an action game has a bad story, it has a bad story. You can't give it a 9 at that point. It's like, the story is so critical in some of these games. It's like, we can't just be like, yeah, its story's terrible, 9. It's like, well, wait a minute. If the story's not very good and it's a bad story, then like, that doesn't sound great for me at this point. Like, old games like Mega Man X can get away with that. It doesn't need a story. It's Mega Man X. Mega Man X doesn't need a story.
That game barely has a story. Like,
exactly.
I guess it does, but like,
barely. It does, but but in that case, it doesn't matter, because it's like, whatever you can gather from the story, you could probably get from the game itself. But like, it doesn't matter. The game is older. It has its limitations. You forgive it. But like, games now, these action games, like, and such, they need to have something. I'm not saying that means Bayonetta should be like a 7, but like, you can't tell me that like, oh, action game is a bad story. That's fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it just like, you know, for an RPG to get a 9, it has to be good in every, like, part of it is like the game's really long, so it has to keep you invested. The combat has to be good, the story has to be good, the exploration has to be good. Obviously, you know, the graphics have to, you know, at least be there, as you said, kind of at least on par. And like basically in an RPG, everything needs to be really good to get a 9. For an action game, if the game looks good, so it's like, it's flashy, has a banging soundtrack, and is fun to play, that's a 9. Like, easy. Like, they don't give a shit about this. Like, maybe they'll mention the reviews. They're like, yeah, the story's hot garbage, but I don't care. So,
I'm like trying to find certain ones where it's like, like, some people seem to really like the story in these reviews. They're like, they got caught into it. And the story that dares to risk everything. I mean, I don't know. I'm just like trying to find other instances where somebody said, if you're looking for a strong, coherent storyline, this was never the series for you. Unscored. Okay. This was unscored. Despite some blah, 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 proving a real masterpiece. Like, I don't know. I could read through the full reviews for people. I'm just trying to see, like, in their blurbs, if anybody's giving it a really high score like this and saying, oh, the story's not very good, though. Which, again, I'm like, okay, but if the story's not very good... Just try to see. Okay, it seems like most of these are just focused on, look, it's a fun game. It's a really fun action-packed game, which is fine. So anyway, but yeah, for me, like, obviously we haven't played this, so it's hard to say, but yeah, 9. I think we saw the 2022 Hall of Fame. That puts it in the top 10. Not top 5, it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, they put 12 in here. That puts it in the top 12 here. So I mean, like, that is definitely surprising and a really big deal.
Too bad Elden Ring exists is gonna win every.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, Elden Ring's gonna win
award.
everything. Like, it's just like, it doesn't matter. Elden Ring's gonna win best shooter, and that's gonna be it. Best shooting game, Elden Ring. What? Yeah, you can shoot bows. Okay, sure, why not? But yeah, I mean, like, I think it's an action game. It's really fun. Like, the story, I guess, is taking a back seat for reviewers, which I don't know if I entirely agree with that. But anyway, any other Bayonetta 3 thoughts? Spoon.
Not really. I mean, it's Bayonetta. You kind of know what you're getting. It's a fun, flashy action game. Seems like they've continued to do that. So if you like Bayonetta and you like fun, fast, flashy action games, you'll probably like this game.
Sure.
And yeah, there wasn't much more, but there was like a slight thing with Helena Taylor this week where she posted a bunch of charities to donate to, and at least according to Jason Schreier, at least one of them was like I don't remember if it was Kansas or Kentucky or something, was like an anti-abortion type thing. Like, I don't know. We don't really need to talk about it.
We don't, but I'm just like... Sorry, I'm like processing why she's doing this. Because, like, I'm just like... I don't know. I mean, like
it wasn't the focus of the charity. Was like, yeah, like no abortion, blah blah blah. But apparently they, had some sources or something, or donated to certain organizations or whatever that were
like,
very
sure.
like anti-abortion and stuff like that. So
okay, sure.
Yeah.
I'm honestly I'm over her at this point. I don't want to hear about it anymore.
I think the industry is over her. As we talked about last week, I would be very surprised if she got another job in the voiceover industry.
I wouldn't.
She's probably done.
I mean, I'm not in the industry. I would never hire her. Like, at this point, even if I felt like she was the best voice for a character, I'd be like, nope, no, thank you. Okay, we have to talk about Call of Duty. Boone, we have to do it. Just buckle in, put up with it. We have to talk about this. It came out yesterday. Here's my take on this. It is a 76 average. I think that's amazing. I think that's fantastic.
I mean, that's ass for Call of Duty. That's ass.
No, recent Call of Duties have been getting ass reviews, haven't they?
Oh, that's right. Vanguard. People hated Vanguard.
People fucking hated Vanguard.
I don't know what it got, but like
to me, I expected a 60 out of this, so I'm shocked.
I guess I'm still remembering the days where like Call of Duty came out every year and it was the same, and it got like 8s and 9s for everybody. Yeah. Basically, it was like, okay.
I mean, the thing is, I can look up Vanguard right now. Call of Duty.
I'm doing it,
and I want to see what it got.
72. Not that much worse.
Not that much worse. Okay, but like, I expect. Okay, to be fair, I expected a 6. This is what I expect. I know that that's not what's going to happen. I think in reality, because reviewers. Yeah, I mean, like, reviewers are going to give Call of Duty some benefit of the doubt because it's Call of Duty. A 76 is surprising to me. I expected lower, obviously. And I did want to kind of scope around what the Call of Duty or fringe Call of Duty communities were saying about the game. Is it more enjoyable than some previous iterations? I played the beta for about 3 hours, I think, was about my playtime. My impression is it's Call of Duty, but it didn't feel like a bad experience. Obviously, it's Call of Duty, so you get frustrated when you don't play well, but I wasn't bored. But at the same time, I understood that I don't think it's going to get much better than this if I played another 10 hours. My experience isn't going to improve with more time. So 76, I think, is very good for this this kind of game at this point, because Call of Duty used to be like that 9 or 10, 8.5, 9 range. But you have to remember, that was the glory days of Call of Duty, where while Call of Duty is extremely popular, like, I don't consider this the golden age of Call of Duty anymore.
Yeah, but even like after, like, I think for most people, the last like great Call of Duty game that most people consider would be Black Ops 2. For me, it was Black Ops 1. I didn't really like Black Ops 2 that much, but most people considered Black Ops 2 to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
So most people consider Black Ops 2 to be like the last really good Call of Duty game.
Sure. and
At
that's probably
at least
fair.
from what I know, and it still continued to get like pretty high reviews for at least another like 3, 4, 5 years after that. It's only
Sure.
like recently, the last few years, where the reviewers are finally like, well, I don't know about this one, guys.
Because they're,
Like
I mean, they recognize that not much is really changing beyond
in
what
like
the
10 plus years of Call of
the
Duty.
the 2009 to about, let's say, 2013, 14. Let's be generous. From 2009 to 2014, to me, that's the golden age of Call of Duty, and that's Modern Warfare releasing and getting into it, to Modern Warfare 2, getting ready to come out. Let's call Black Ops 2 the end of the golden age. Those 5 years were like the best 5 years of Call of Duty, because, well, one, Fortnite didn't exist. That's like a huge a contributing factor. Halo
Yep.
couldn't. I don't know. I'm going to use a basketball term. Couldn't buy a basket to save their life. They couldn't make a basket.
I mean, Reach was in there somewhere, but I
Reach,
guess
it was in there somewhere, but Call of Duty was, or sorry, Halo was not. It was passing its golden age.
yeah,
Halo's
for sure.
golden age was passing.
Yeah, Halo 3 was the top for sure for Halo.
Because Reach was probably like 2013, I would imagine, 2012. Because
No,
Bungie
Reach came out when we were in college, so it was like 2010 or
2010.
2011,
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Because that's when Bungie stopped. That's when Bungie
Yeah.
stopped. Bungie said, we're done. We're going to spend 5 years making Destiny 1. And I mean, Halo's golden age was passing and Call of Duty's was beginning. And then now Call of Duty's golden age in about 2014, 2015, it started passing. And Fortnite came in around, what, 2017-ish, 2018? So there was like this period where Call of Duty still was there. And then Fortnite kind of came in and Battle Royales came in. And just took over, and now Call of Duty's in like this trying to reinvent itself phase of we're gonna be a battle royale, but also continue to be Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But we're no longer in the best years of Call of Duty. So when I see a 76 from Call of Duty, I suppose that's a positive trend that I'm seeing. Like I would like to see Call of Duty maybe get better again, but I mean I don't know if that'll ever happen again. But like 76 to me is trending in the right direction. If it gets back to anything with 80, and they can consistently make a decent campaign, I mean, there's something there. But I mean, that, yeah, 76 is surprising to me. I thought this would be lower, at least in the 60s range, because like I just have no expectations for this series at this point, and especially after the beta. I just have no expectations.
I don't know. I feel like I generally heard positive thoughts about this game, at least in compared to like Vanguard. People were, at least from what I heard, the little that I heard, people were saying like, yeah, this one seems like a little better.
Right. I think that's probably going to be the reception it's going to get, and that's why people are going to say, "Oh, well, this is great," because Vanguard was so bad, like for the community. So, I mean, I'm curious to see how it plays out. I'm not interested in playing it, really, but like my impressions of the beta weren't negative. That's what I'm going to say. I wasn't negative on the beta. I was just like, yeah. I don't know. It seems like Call of Duty, and that's about it. That's all I need to say. I don't remember at a time when I thought Call of Duty tried to reinvent itself in a positive way. I think maybe this stark difference between something like a Modern Warfare 2 and 3 to Black Ops was really interesting. But after that, it just kind of drained away from me. So, any other Call of Duty thoughts, Spoon? I know you're enthralled by this series, so I wanted to make sure that we got it on the table.
I mean, I loved Call of Duty in the golden age, as you mentioned. You know, we played it a lot, and I loved Call of Duty back in the day. But
sure,
you know,
it's
I don't know. I guess it just got stale. I think.
Yeah.
Like I think if you still like it and still like playing Call of Duty, that's fine, man. It's kind of the same thing, but you know.
Sure. Okay. That's all the news I had on here.